In a dramatic escalation of tension, Donald Trump's recent visit to Allentown, Pennsylvania, has been met with widespread backlash, particularly from the Puerto Rican community. Trump's speeches, which have often stirred up strong reactions, struck a unique chord in Allentown, where he attempted to gain traction with Latino voters by claiming that he's done more for Puerto Rico than any previous president. Yet, as Trump's words echoed through the rally, protesters outside made it clear that his claims weren't convincing them. This clash of narratives, Trump's self-assured assertions versus the critical, vocal response of the Puerto Rican community, signals the growing divide between Trump and minority groups that feel alienated by his rhetoric and policies. In this video, we'll explore the core moments from Trump's speech in Allentown, the Puerto Rican community's response, and the growing tension over his comments on race, national identity, and his vision of America. From Trump's praise of his Madison Square Garden rally to his contentious remarks about Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama, we break down the key statements that fueled outrage and highlight the protesters' reactions as they push back against Trump's claims. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 5,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. Alright, let's dive right into it. Trump's controversial arrival in Allentown. Donald Trump's arrival in Allentown stirred immediate controversy, as protests flared up from the moment his motorcade entered the city. Allentown, a historically diverse community with a substantial Puerto Rican population, has increasingly become a focal point of opposition to Trump's rhetoric on immigration, race, and national identity. As protesters waved banners and chanted in defiance, it was clear that Trump's campaign had struck a nerve. Inside the venue, Trump began his speech with an attempt to endear himself to the crowd by recalling his recent Madison Square Garden rally. He described it as the greatest event anyone has ever seen politically, a bold claim that underscored his view of himself as a political icon. However, the reality outside the rally, where protesters were gathered to voice their opposition, painted a starkly different picture. For many, his reference to the New York rally seemed out of touch with the concerns of Allentown's Latino community. A tense reception from Puerto Rican protesters. Trump's statement that he has done more for Puerto Rico than any other president was met with immediate disdain. In a community where many have strong ties to Puerto Rico and first-hand experience of the challenges it faces, Trump's claim rang hollow. The island has faced immense struggles in recent years, from hurricanes to political instability, and Trump's handling of aid and relief efforts has been a point of criticism for Puerto Ricans and their allies. The protesters outside took to social media, sharing live footage of their chants and signs rejecting Trump's statements. Banners reading "No More Lies" and "Respect Puerto Rico" highlighted a sentiment that Trump's claims were disingenuous. Trump's remarks failed to resonate with a community that felt his administration had overlooked their struggles during natural disasters, particularly Hurricane Maria, which devastated the island in 2017. The giant garbage can remark and its fallout. Trump's description of America as a giant garbage can was another point that sparked backlash. Meant to criticize current immigration policies, the comment struck many as deeply offensive, especially in a city like Allentown, where immigrants and their descendants have made vital contributions to the community. This remark seemed to symbolize a larger pattern in Trump's rhetoric, a willingness to use divisive language to appeal to certain segments of his base, even if it alienates others. While Trump defended his remarks as an indictment of the state of immigration enforcement, critics pointed out that they served only to deepen the cultural and political divides. For Puerto Rican protesters, the garbage can metaphor was seen as an insult, reinforcing the perception that Trump views communities of color and immigrant populations as lesser or unworthy. This perception has fueled the drive for Latino communities to push back and assert their voices against what they see as Trump's negative view of multicultural America. Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama. The gender divide. Trump didn't just target communities of color in his Allentown speech. He also took jabs at high-profile women in politics. First, he mocked Vice President Kamala Harris's supposed lack of support, claiming that Beyoncé didn't come to one of her rallies. The comment seemed bizarre, as Beyoncé's name was invoked out of nowhere and the crowd appeared confused. Trump suggested that Harris needed Beyoncé's star power to draw a crowd, hinting at what he saw as her weakness. Shortly after, he took aim at Michelle Obama, claiming she had been nasty to him, despite his efforts to be nice. This attack on Obama was seen by many as Trump's attempt to deflect criticism by portraying himself as the victim of political hostility. These personal digs at prominent Black women leaders underscored Trump's history of targeting figures who have openly opposed his policies. For the crowd in Allentown, however, the remarks felt oddly out of place and seemed to reflect his frustration with those who question his record. A love fest at Madison Square Garden. While Trump spoke about the love fest atmosphere at his recent Madison Square Garden rally, Allentown residents weren't convinced. Trump described the event as the greatest evening anyone has ever seen, framing it as a validation of his political brand. He went on to compare the rally's significance to historical events, even invoking the controversial use of Madison Square Garden in 1939 by Nazis in America, only to downplay the comparison and emphasize his event's unmatched energy and love. For Puerto Rican protesters in Allentown, Trump's references to the Garden event seemed irrelevant, if not outright inappropriate. They viewed it as part of a pattern in which Trump celebrates his popularity in certain circles while ignoring or belittling the real issues affecting diverse communities in the U.S. The protesters chanted messages that highlighted their dissatisfaction with his approach, calling for genuine support and action, not self-praise or nostalgia for prior rallies. Donald Trump's visit to Allentown encapsulated the clash between his campaign's rhetoric and the reality of minority communities who feel excluded by his policies. From his attempts to win over Puerto Ricans with claims of unprecedented support to his jabs at political opponents, Trump's speech painted a divisive picture that energized both supporters and detractors. For the Puerto Rican community, his words on America's state, the Madison Square Garden rally, and his handling of Puerto Rican aid only underscored the disconnect between his perception of success and their lived experiences. The Allentown protests serve as a reminder of the growing rift between Trump's narrative and the concerns of minority voters across the country. As Trump continues to campaign with his characteristic style, the question remains, will his polarizing tactics mobilize his base without further alienating key voter groups? In Allentown, the Puerto Rican community has made its stance clear. They demand genuine respect and representation, not empty praise or politicized soundbites. The scene at this rally is a preview of the challenge Trump may face as he seeks to regain the presidency in an increasingly diverse and vocal America.